The special counsel again saying that General Michael Flynn gave such good cooperation, so substantial, he should serve no time in jail. Now, how did we get here? 2017, Michael Flynn pled guilty to lying to the FBI, to the Department of Justice, about his contacts with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. Flynn has been cooperating ever since. The special counsel actually answers a very early informative question. Did Flynn cooperate right away? How much was he into cooperating? There had been so much speculating and reporting that he was dragging his feet. He didn't want to cooperate. The special counsel says none of that speculation was true, that he was one of the first with long-range understanding of the campaign and the interactions with Russia and other entities to come forward and to cooperate. So that's a key point. He also says something else in here, and I think we have it made up for you. You may take this as frustrating, but you should not, and I'll explain why. The special counsel says in the addendum, so there's the main memo that's largely background, we'll take you through it. Then there's the addendum, which has the specifics of what he cooperated on. Most of it, I would suggest, that matters is redacted. I don't know if we have any pages. You know what redacted looks like. It looks like this, okay? It's just black bars. What does that tell you? It tells you that this is not over. And what does this mean? Now we can put some meat on the bones of that. Because in this memo, the special counsel says that not only has General Flynn helped with the special counsel investigation into Russian interference, that's the main one, he's also been helping with a separate criminal investigation. Against who? About what? We don't know. It's all redacted. So common sense tells you the truth. He's got something else working. There will be more to come. Now, on that basis, you see a lot of suggestive language in these two documents that it's a little bit of a beware. We asked people for help. Not everybody wanted to come up. We've learned a lot of things anyway. They should be held to a very high standard. And this could be the first of a number of iterations of moves by the special counsel. So let's look at what's here. Let's look at what they got from Flynn. And let's look at where it leads. We have two perfect guests for this. We have D.C., both based, former U.S. Solicitor General Neil Katyal and Chief Investigative Correspondent for Yahoo News and co-author of Russian Roulette, Mike Isikoff. Great to have you both. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Haven't gotten anything wrong yet, right, in terms of laying it out?
Not that I heard.
To me, the most impressive thing, two things. One, no time. He's been so helpful. Right. No time. Not set out of deference to his position, but the measure of his cooperation. The second thing, all the bars. Right. All the bars. You always want to see bars if you're trying to figure out something, whether or not it's over and where it might be headed. What's your take?
Yeah, so let's start with the bars. So, you know, a lot of people have speculated, including I think even Michael yesterday, that Mueller might be wrapping up his investigation. You do not file a document that looks like this. Nope. If your investigation still, is in the final stages. And indeed, there's a line in the actual filing just a half hour ago, which says that it can't reveal the details of all of Flynn's assistance because, quote, the investigations in which he provided assistance are ongoing, ongoing. And that is, boy, a real clue that we're strapped in because we're in this for quite a while.
Right. But let me point out a couple of things, and it really takes a close reading of this to tease this out. If you look at that addendum, which does have these frustrating redactions, there are 3 investigations referenced for which Flynn has provided cooperation. One is completely redacted. We don't know what it is.
But it is a criminal investigation.
A criminal investigation. The second is the special counsel's investigation into collusion links between the Trump campaign and the Russians. That is not redacted. And then there's a third one, again, totally redacted. So the way I read this, the ongoing investigations, which are not itemized here, are what Flynn is providing continuing assistance to, but it's not the Russia coordination investigation because that is spelled out and not redacted. So there are other matters that Mueller has come across. He may be doing it himself. He may have referred it out to other U.S. attorney's office, as he did with Michael Cohen. We don't know. But the fact is that if you look at the language as it refers to coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russians, I don't see a reference to ongoing.
So I love Mike. I have to disagree. So, there is this second part of the memo which talks about Michael's word collusion, but the kind of contacts between the Trump campaign and Russia. And then right afterwards, there's this long blacked out paragraph. Now, I don't think that's necessarily about something else. It could very well be about the same exact thing. It, after all, falls within
I'm not known
rubric.
as a politician, but the truth is you could both be right.
Exactly.
One, when we are investigating what's happening around Cohen, sources close to that investigation suggest that there is a compartmentalized nature to the probe, and that they may end, for instance, their aspect of looking at the president's role of what he knew and what he did. Maybe they could end that on the basis of his questions. And let's be honest, as you well know, their hands are tied by the DOJ in terms of how they can act on him anyway. So that could end. But there could be other parts that continue. And in fact, when I asked people close to the president's legal team about that, they jumped on the suggestion. So that could be in the offing. Michael could be picking that up in his reporting clearly. However, at the same time, when you isolate something within the Russia investigation that becomes relevant, you can spin it off into its own deal. So now you get that, well, it's not just that you spoke to somebody and you shouldn't have, or you took a meeting that you were stupid enough to take, but this was actually criminal, and you didn't help me clear it up, so now I'm coming after you. You're now not part of the interference probe. You're your own animal in case.
But, Chris, let's go back to what the headline is probably here. No jail time.
No jail time, which is unusual.
Flynn.
Mueller has not done that in every case of cooperation.
Now, usually, if you're going to use Flynn to make a criminal case against somebody else, you want him not just to plead guilty, but to serve some time, because he is your witness against somebody else. He's your witness who saw criminal conduct, who participated in
like what they're doing
conduct.
with Cohen.
Right. So the question in my mind is, if Flynn is not getting any prison time here, who's the target? Because, it may be that it's just the president, and Mueller is bound by DOJ guidelines. He can't indict the president.
Right. He could do a set-aside indictment.
Well,
he could do an indictment for later. But
there's
to your
nothing
point,
here that hints at who the potential targets would be.
100% true, to my reckoning, and I haven't heard any different from you yet. However, to answer your own question, on page 2 of the addendum, the government has thus far obtained from the defendant substantial assistance. Some of that benefit may not be fully realized at this time because the investigation in which he has provided assistance are ongoing. However, I'm adding that word, the defendant and the government agree that sentencing at this time is nonetheless appropriate because sufficient information is available to allow the court to determine the import of the defendant's assistance to a sentence, meaning he's already given us enough help to justify our call for leniency, and there are other things that he could still help us with.
Agreed, but Michael, I think, is right. The $5 million question is what is to come, and boy, that target has to be something big in order for Flynn to get the deal.
Targets, because there are at least two open matters.
Sure. So to think about who Flynn was, I served twice in the government in high positions, and the National Security Advisor is pretty much a step away from God. I mean, that's how important that person is. Closest president, the closest advisor to the president on foreign policy and the like. That person, Michael Flynn, admitted to a crime here, and Mueller's team said, because he was cooperating, because he effectively confessed right away, 0 time. Boy, you're only going to do that if there's something big.
And we know that because he has not done it. We'll see what he does with Cohen, and we don't expect anything like that with Manafort. So we'll see as a basis of comparison. But already we know that they have not done this, asking for no time in other cases. Another thing is this matter. You've drafted lots of these types of pleadings for the government.
Usually in public.
Criminal investigation. Okay, so there's A as a subset. B, special counsel's office investigation, okay? And then there's a subset I. We don't know if there's a subset in A. There may be based on the paragraph structure, but we're not sure. And then there's this paragraph that's open on page 4. It looks like this. Again, a lot of it is bars, but I'll tell you why I'm making the question. The defendant also provided useful information concerning. It's not broken out as a subset with its own letter.
Exactly.
Now, what does that mean to laymen?
Right. So that was my point to Michael is, it's a words act test at this point. Who knows what it means? It might tell us more about what we think than it does about
But if it was
else.
a big matter, wouldn't it have a letter?
It might, but I think actually the structure of this document tracks the way in which the special counsel regulations and Mueller's mandate is. He has a criminal mandate and he has an intelligence mandate. And A could be seen as criminal, B could be seen as intelligence.
What's the practical difference for people? Criminal, intelligence, what's the difference?
Well, sometimes they're going to intersect, but oftentimes intelligence, investigations are just about retrospective what happened without necessarily anyone going through jail time. And obviously, we have a deep national security need to know what happened, apart from whether the president should be in jail or anything like that.